So I'm going to start with the main one for this week, which is actually how to improve performance by up to 40%. So actually this chap is a guy called Matthew Walker, British guy based out of California. He's at university in Berkeley. And actually what he does, and I found out this morning doing my homework, he's actually from Liverpool. So he's actually from my hometown. And I kind of knew, I couldn't tell where the accent was from because obviously he's very polished now and he does a lot of media stuff. But what he does and what his research and life's work has been about is actually what is sleep, how to get better sleep, how to increase performance, but then likewise the benefits that can have on your lifespan. And I just thought it was interesting because, you know, me especially, I go through a hell of a lot of books and different things, all trying to, you know, boost performance and improve my skill set. And sleep is one of those really fundamental things that actually people often don't estimate. So one of the things that's really important, if you look at your hierarchy of kind of fitness and what, you know, makes a difference to people's careers. So this is health, yeah. So the three main areas that people often associate with health, if that makes sense, is diet, exercise, and sleep. Because actually without all three of those, if you had a terrible diet, your health and performance and stuff is going to be pretty bad. If you don't exercise, again, we all kind of know that one, but the sleep is a really interesting one. But actually something that Matthew argues is that actually that shouldn't be there. Sleep should actually be here. Because studies have shown that actually without sleep or without quality sleep, actually it can degrade performance like crazy fast and actually has a massive impact. So the way that Matthew talks about it is almost that sleep is the fundamental building block to performance, and this is personal performance, you know, the way your mind works, but also your health as well. I'm just going to jump back to the chat. No questions yet. Early hours of the day. Fair enough. But I love getting in touch. And likewise, okay, oil and gas market, me too. That's my background as well. I used to do a lot of stuff in kind of, well, I guess Northern Europe and companies that work in the engineering design kind of space or that make physical products. But no, thank you for getting in touch. And I appreciate the chat. And you've probably noticed by now that this pops up on the screen as well. But no, thank you for getting in touch. But the thing that's really important actually with sleep and why I think it's really worth talking to is that actually, yes, it helps, but one of the main benefits is actually your memory intake. So this is actually where, if you're learning something, and it could be personal development stuff, it could be an exam, it could be whichever, both good sleep before and after you've tried to learn something actually helps cement it into the brain. And it's one of those things I didn't necessarily know, but there's a hell of a lot of studies on it. And it's just really interesting to look at. Good sleep also boosts your immune system. The correlation between good sleep or bad sleep and things like cancer and stuff is actually massive. It's a lot bigger than you might think. And actually it's really important. And what I'm going to touch on is ways to get better sleep and different things as well. But actually, and then last but not least, relating to this, good sleep can also improve your life span, which makes sense because actually if you get good sleep and good rest and your body is healthier, it's going to be more likely to fight off disease and illness and cancers and that kind of thing, to actually live longer. And it's just really interesting to do. So what I'm going to do is touch on a few different ways to achieve that, but also why it's important and different things that you can do as well. So I'm going to touch on the benefits of sleep a little bit more before I go into ways to kind of help with it. So I've talked about the foundations for fitness and kind of good health, but there's also a really good thing to memory recall and almost just cognitive performance. And what was really interesting that I just thought I'd share. So this is time of night. I'll do 10 p.m, 7 a.m. is that I think we all kind of know that when you sleep, we go into different stages of sleep. So at the top is awake. And then you have what most people know is REM sleep, which is almost there. But then actually there's 4 stages. 1, 2, 3, 4. of something called NREM sleep. And basically this is your deeper cognitive sleep that actually if you have a good night's sleep, obviously you fall asleep and you track between these different areas over the course of the night before you wake up. But what's really interesting is actually when you get down to these deeper stages of sleep, this is actually where your mind and your subconscious actually processes a lot of information. So stuff that you've seen throughout the day or problems that you're working on or whichever, it's in these different types of sleep and different areas of sleep do you really get your real kind of superpower. It's the power of your brain to really process stuff that happens at this time of the night. And the reason why this is really important is this actually helps your ability to learn things, but actually to perform and to process good information and bad information. And people always say that when time heals all wounds, and Matthew's argument is actually it's not time, it's time while sleeping heals all wounds. But it's just the kind of thing that when you're looking at how to improve the performance of your sleep, there are different ways to do it. One is actually to reduce caffeine and alcohol. Both are proven to interrupt our sleep patterns. And basically what that means is you get less of the good level 3, level 4 NREM sleep. Get into a routine. Matthew talks about how even, yes, through the week you might go to bed at 10 p.m. and wake up at 6 or whatever. But actually for optimum conditions, if you can follow that through to the weekend, it really kind of helps. And you also get like a build-up of sleep, so that if you have a really heavy weekend and don't really get your sleep in, that does build up over time and it follows through to the next week. Reduce light levels. This is also interesting that at the moment this room, because I have all the camera equipment, is very, very bright. But basically bright lights tell your brain to wake up. And you know, there's lots of chemical things which in the books and stuff I've read from Matthew that almost control your sleep. But actually the same is true. So if you're trying to go to sleep and get better sleep, reducing your time on your phone, when you start to kind of calm down, turning the main lights off in the room, and just gradually chilling down, I think is always really important. Reduce temperature. I think we've all had it as well, where especially if you're on holiday and it's really hot and you can't sleep and you just can't get to that level. I think it's 1.5 degrees is the average body temperature drop when you actually go to sleep. But you can get to sleep faster if you actually reduce the temperature in your room and gradually kind of work on that. And all of this will help improve performance, but actually improve your ability for the brain to heal the body, but likewise process information. And then likewise, something else I'm going to touch on now is also, it's called your circadian rhythm. And why this is really important, because I didn't know this until quite recently, is that when we all kind of sleep, so again, that's time of night. We all actually have different what are called circadian rhythms, which is some of us are early morning people, which I'm not really. I'm okay, I'm probably in the middle. And you also have kind of night owls. And what's interesting is that if this was 11 p.m, and again 7 a.m, some people are happily to be wide awake till the early hours of the morning, get some sleep and then go back up. But other people actually need to go to bed earlier, but then they wake up earlier. And the truth is, and it's been biologically proven, people just are different. But the important thing is if you're a night owl, just learn to embrace that and work around it. Or if you're an early morning kind of person, just get into your own rhythm. But all of these things actually will genuinely help improve kind of performance. And again, this is like hardwired. Your chronotype is what type of, do you like to get up in the mornings? Do you not? It's not something that we can necessarily control. Routine definitely helps. But what I wanted to do was just in this kind of quick, few minutes was just talk about some areas that I'm personally trying to work on my sleep to help improve performance, the ability to solve problems and deal with stress and that kind of thing. And just from the research, I just thought for 10 minutes it was worth talking about. I'm just going to catch up on hi, good morning, Denise. Good morning, Manuel from London. Oh, cool, geologist. I love it when people get in touch, and thank you. Obviously, you'll see it pops up. But no, please get in touch. Please tell me where you're from and kind of what you do. It's always kind of cool to know, and I appreciate any comments or interaction or feedback or whichever. And hopefully the kind of short section on sleep was quite interesting. For me, we all read performance books, and actually I'm in the middle of this one. So it's called Relentless by Tim Grover. So Tim actually trained Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and a lot of other Dwayne Wade basketball players. I play basketball myself. I've always been a big fan. So for me, it's almost a perfect balance between a business performance mindset book that happens to be about one of my idols, which is Kobe Bryant. But actually, I'm about halfway through it now. I ordered it from Amazon after a recommendation from a friend. Really, really good book if you're into this kind of thing. I think for me, it's better because I'm into basketball, but actually I'll do a review on this sometime soon. But my point is, I read a lot of stuff to almost get the inspiration to then use in my own life and my own business. And actually, when I learned the stuff about sleep, this is something that costs nothing, impacts all of us. And actually, there are little things that we can do to improve performance. So I just wanted to kind of share it.